Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool is a nightmare of violence, excess, and identity collapse. But is this movie shock for shock's sake, or is there something more lurking beneath the surface? We're going to find out in today's episode of How Disturbing. Hello and welcome back to another episode of How Disturbing. I'm your host, Billy Bogues, and today we're looking at 2023's psychedelic horror, Infinity Pool. Obviously on this channel we're looking at disturbing scenes, and although my descriptions will be brief and fleeting, viewer discretion is definitely advised. As well as that, this is your spoiler warning. Let's roll! Meet Em and James. They're spending a holiday vacation on the fictional island of Latolka.
Where are we?
This was your idea, remember? Feeling inspired yet?
And we're catching them at some sort of traditional ceremony.
As some of you may know, we are approaching the rainy season here in Latolka. For the locals, this period before the storms come is known as Umbrama, or the summoning.
Whoa, those are some creepy masks. Anyway, James is at the beach when he meets Gabby. It's revealed that James is a failed writer, and that Gabby is a fan of the only book he's written.
I loved your book.
Sorry?
You're James Foster. I loved your book.
Alright, last person to meet Albin. Albin is Gabby's husband. Gabby and Albin invite James and Em out for dinner.
I've been seeing you around the resort for a few days now, and I would love to get to know you. We have a reservation tonight at Yang's.
As the two couples make polite small talk over dinner, we learn that James is currently suffering from writer's block, and it's been years since he's written anything.
Did I say something wrong?
Oh, no, it's just he hasn't been writing.
No, I'm working on it.
The following day, the two couples are leaving for a day trip, and we learn that the people at the resort, well, they're not supposed to leave.
We're not supposed to leave the resort strip. It's a poor country. I know it's not their fault. They have a high crime rate, and the guide says they target foreigners.
Naughty, naughty. The couple set out across the countryside, eventually arriving at the beach.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, fuck off. It's very, very beautiful.
They lounge around and eat some sausages.
Do you want a buffalo sausage?
No, if I eat another sausage, I'll vomit.
Before James gets up to go pee-pee in the bushes.
Almost done.
And to absolutely everybody's surprise, Gabby appears behind James while he's peeing and gives him a hand job. Wow. Okay, it's now the evening, and after a big day of drinking, James has decided to drive everyone back to the resort.
I can drive.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
And what you're about to see here, ladies and gentlemen, is why you shouldn't drink and drive. Here we go, and bam. Whoop, dead.
Boop. Dead.
The couples argue over what they should do.
I couldn't see!
I have to call someone.
Call who?
Call the resort. I'll call a consulate.
Nobody will find us.
How do you call the police?
But Gabby convinces everyone just to bail on the whole situation because this country has a really corrupt government.
Do you know anything about jail in Latolka? This isn't a civilized country. It's brutal and it's filthy. We're not getting picked up for this. Get back in the car now.
It was an accident!
The next morning, James gets a very predictable knock at the door.
Yeah.
You have to come with us.
And eventually, he finds himself in a dingy interrogation room where he's basically already been found guilty of his crime.
You went on a joyride with your wife up the coast. There you became intoxicated and hit a farmer named Myron, killing him instantly.
The son of the deceased now gets to murder James in order to restore honour to his family. Makes sense.
Under our federal law in Latolka, if you are responsible for the death of a man, including in the case of an avoidable accident, his eldest son should kill you to preserve the family's honor.
That is unless James agrees to, and get ready for it, unless James agrees to having a clone of himself made for the purpose of the punishment.
For a significant sum, the state will build double to stand in for your execution.
All at a high cost to James, of course. Okay, we find ourselves in some kind of execution auditorium thing, and we're seeing James's clone be tied to a post. The deceased's son soon enters the auditorium thing, and before we know it, he's taken a knife and he's hacking up the clone of James. As the couples watch on, they were forced by the way, Em is disgusted by what she's watching. James, however, is oddly captivated by his own slaying. After the whole ordeal, they return to their hotel room and Em is keen to get the hell out of there. However, James, well, he's lost his passport.
I don't know where it is.
James, we have to leave.
Well, I know I'm looking, but it's not.
We have to leave.
I don't know where my passport is.
We have to leave.
James tells Em he understands if she wants to leave alone.
And if you want to go without me, I'll understand.
And Em tells James that she's disgusted with him for actually enjoying his own execution.
It's really so disgusting that you could just sit there.
James runs into Gabby in the lobby, and Gabby explains to James that her and Alvin have been enjoying this island's strange practice for some time now.
The owner of the bottery put the blame on Alvin, and so we were arrested. Penalty of death. And we made a discovery then that you have now discovered.
James agrees to meet up with Gabby and Albin and a bunch of their friends who have all been enjoying the weird practice of the island.
Everyone? This is the new friend I was telling you about.
After a lot of alcohol, the group managed to convince James to join them on a crime spree. They're going to go and terrorise the man who sentenced them to their original executions. Unexpectedly, in the midst of their crime spree, a shootout erupts and many people are shot and many people are injured. Unsurprisingly, we find everyone back in the interrogation room.
They really should have water in here. Charles, do you have any water on you?
They took my bag, sweetheart.
However, it appears this time that there's not going to be any doubling.
You've tested the limits of our hospitality, and today I'm feeling inspired to make a statement.
You see, Baldy, well, he's pissed, and he's going to make a point by actually having the group really executed.
Hey! What's going on?
As the group are all being shackled up for their execution, a fight ensues, and James ends up being slashed in the throat and dies. Boop, dead.
Boop, dead.
Shortly after, everyone else is executed. Boop dead, boop dead, boop dead, boop dead, boop dead.
Boop, dead.
Only not, because these are actually clones, and the entire gang cheer as they watch themselves die.
Well done, James. I didn't think you had it in you.
Back at the villa, Em tells James that she's leaving.
I'm leaving.
I don't have a passport.
Well, then I guess you get to stay.
That evening on the beach, Gabby tells James that she didn't think Em was the right person for him in the first place.
I'm left today.
That may be for the best.
Then Gabby drops this Andrew Tate style "women are actually oppressing men" line.
Men are trained by women like Em to see themselves as weak. It can take some work to undo.
She follows that up by making out with James in the rain.
The rainy season is coming.
That evening, the gang steal a clone from the hospital, I guess?
Any trouble? There was a police van. It almost ran me down.
No. They just sold out their boss. Probably had to get drunk first.
I don't know. They then get high as fuck, and James beats the shit out of the hooded clone. Who is the clone that James is kicking the shit out of? Well, it's himself. James understandably freaks out and returns to his villa. But so do the rest of the gang. The following morning, James finally has a moment of clarity. That's right, he's getting the hell out of there and catches the first bus home. But then this wild shit happens. Yeah, Gabby is turned full-on bonkers.
Give us the coward, James Foster, or I will come in shooting! He is a spineless worm and a bedwetter!
They remove James from the bus and force him to walk back to the villa while Gabby taunts him.
I can always pick out a sucky baby for us. What a joke. This whole time we've been laughing at you.
James eventually makes a break for it, but Gabby shoots him in the leg. He passes out, but when he wakes up, it's nighttime and the gang have brought him another James clone. This time, they're calling it Dog.
Kill the dog!
When James refuses to attack Dog the clone in turn begins to attack James, and James is forced to turn yet another clone into a bloody mess. Following this, James falls to the ground. Gabby coddles him, before popping out a titty so James can suck on her nipple. That's going to be hard to put in this video. And that's it, vacation's over. We see everyone getting back onto the bus, making small talk about their daily lives that they'll be soon returning to.
Gabby, what are you two doing when you go back to LA?
Oh, well, Alvin's going straight back to work, aren't you?
Oh yes, unfortunately there's being issue.
Not James though. He turns around and goes back to the resort. And the film ends as we see him back at the resort sitting on the beach in the rain. Infinity Pool came out in 2023, and in Australia it received an R18 plus rating. First of all, I've got to say, it's really nice to see another Aussie in a Hollywood-ish film. For the first act of Infinity Pool, I really enjoyed the cinematography and the art house flavour. It definitely helped to emulate what the characters were feeling. Mia Goth is incredible as usual, as is Alexander Skarsgård. However, by the time the second act rolled around, I kind of felt like I was watching the second episode of a season and I hadn't seen the first. Like, the film just doesn't really give you much of a setup. A few completely forgettable throwaway lines are sometimes all we get to establish really important plot points in the story. By the time Infinity Pool entered its final act, I definitely felt like this movie was being made up as it went along. And also, what was with the random all women are bad narrative that just slides in there at one point? Like, that part of the film is completely unestablished. I actually believe that one day Infinity Pool will be a cult classic. Unfortunately, I won't be one of the people who are a fan of it. Alright, it's time to find out where Infinity Pool ranks amongst its brethren of disturbing films. Will it be the greatest disturbing movie of all time? Let's find out. To start off with, I'm going to rate Infinity Pool just for how good it was as a movie. And I'm rating Infinity Pool a 42.8 out of 100. Next up, I have to find out what the audience thinks outside of me, so I go to the most popular movie review sites, average all those ratings together, and it looks like you guys think that Infinity Pool is worth a 67.8. Pretty big difference there. That's why I'm going to average my rating with your rating to get our overall rating for Infinity Pool, the combined rating being a 55.3. Cool. The second last thing we need to do with Infinity Pool is give it a disturbing ranking. So out of 100, unfortunately, I'm only going to award Infinity Pool a disturbing rating of 32.9. It just wasn't that graphic and it really didn't leave me thinking about it after the movie was finished. So finally, we have to average together how good the movie is with how disturbing the movie is to get its final rating. And when we average those two numbers together, it looks like Infinity Pool is getting itself an ultimate disturbing rating of 44.1. Alright, let's bring in the grand spreadsheet here and see where it sits. Okay, that's actually leaving Infinity Pool at spot number 20. Seems like we think it's more disturbing than Late Night with the Devil, but less disturbing than Terrifier. Thanks for watching another episode of How Disturbing, guys. Please like and subscribe. I hate begging, but it really helps me. We're a young channel here. And if you'd like something promoted, if you've got a product or a startup, I will promote it on this channel for free. I don't want anything, I just want to promote some cool stuff. Having said that, I'm Billy Bogues, you've watched How Disturbing, I'll catch you later.